Alright, everyone, so sorry about the 2 day delay. I recently just moved from Amherst, Mass. Down to Philadelphia, and it's surprisingly difficult to record a podcast while driving down the Jersey Turnpike. Regardless, I'm all moved in and it's time to get right back into it. This week we're going to be digging deep and getting to the real roots of why I get high. That's right, we're talking Kush, Ganja, Chronic, the Good, Loud, Uncle's Cabbage, Gnome Green Eyed Jill, Wacky Da Backy, and the holy guacamole. Yes, this is a podcast where weed is discussed. Yes, I'm about to go indulge in the sticky icky. And yes, when I get back, I'm going to talk about why I did, why I do, and why I think it's so important to talk about it with all of you. So stay tuned, roll it up, and I'll be right back with episode 3 of A Rock in a High Place. Okay, here we go, episode 3, Why I Get High. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wow, I thought Tosh only talked about his race. Well, you're wrong, kinda. See, when it comes to drugs, especially weed, race is so dangerously intertwined in the topic that it almost is impossible to separate my skin tone from the weed itself. It's safe to assume that some of you already know that the legal punishment for weed is based almost entirely on how dark the person's smoking is and which neighborhood they happen to be smoking in. We could talk about how a black person is almost 4 times as likely to be arrested for possession of marijuana, or the fact that Massachusetts has a higher racial disparity in marijuana possession arrests in 2018 when weed was legalized than it did in 2010 when Mary Jane was still a fugitive in the streets. But honestly, I don't want to or need to talk about any of that. Those are just stats, and I'm no statistician. I'm just a 21-year-old black stoner who wants to understand the relationship I have with the flower. To really get into it, there's only one place to start, my childhood friend Lewis's garage. In reality, it was a half-finished 2-story project Lewis and his dad had been building to play pool, listen to Led Zeppelin, and smoke so much the bottom floor looked like a mini Coachella. Lewis called it the trap house. The first year of smoking, I would hang out with Lewis and our close friend John, and we would get high and talk about all the things we would do after high school. I wanted to become a famous actor and explore the whole world. They probably had big dreams too, but I was way too high to remember. The point is, with the help of weed, I could see exactly what I wanted my life to be, and I had no problem sharing those dreams with my friends. I started smoking more after high school. I worked at a bar, and while I couldn't share a beer with my coworkers, I was always happy to light up a joint with them. We would smoke weed on the front steps and watch cop cars pass. Weed had become legalized, and I was surrounded by white people. The cops couldn't touch me, and I was on top of the world. Not much has changed since then. The flower I've become so close to has helped me connect with peers, verbalize my own dreams, and reach a level of comfort with myself that lets me share bits of me with all of you. And yet the stigma remains that a black dude smoking is lazy and a criminal. I'm not blind to my own privilege. I'm light-skinned, wear glasses, and I speak the way cops want me to speak. It's probably a part of the reason why some of y'all listen to me, too. I'm just the right kind of black to talk about weed. And I know that. But that's why I make it so clear to you all that this podcast endorses smoking. Because right now there are black kids across the country smoking weed and talking about becoming politicians or rappers or engineers or stand-up comedians. We look at their clothes and where they're from, and as a community we laugh at them. They aren't the right kind of black to smoke and get a degree. They aren't putting their effort into their dreams, they're just lazy stoners. Sometimes I see my peers that way as well. So while I struggle not to ostracize black stoners and label them in my head, the least I can do is promote my podcast as smoke-friendly for everyone. Not just for white kids and black kids with glasses and a European dialect, but for everyone. Because there are great minds in the heads of those black stoners, and no one is listening to them.